Mm.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Peaceful
Morning.
Medium, joined by the amazing, incredible self-love expert, Aunt Jen. Good morning. How are you today?
I am wonderful. Thank you very much. It's beautiful, and I'm on the road. I love being on the road, and yeah, connecting with people. Still doing everything that I do. You just do it from someplace else. And
I
yourself, darling.
I love it. I may sneeze several times. It's allergy season.
Local honey. I swear by it.
I just had some. Literally, I just made
I
toast with
swear
local.
by local honey.
I swear by it too. I literally just made butter toast with no salt butter because I have high blood pressure thanks endometriosis, and local honey, gluten-free
Mhm.
bread,
Yes, spoonfuls.
local honey, and
Mhm.
no salt butter. It was delicious. Um, and I'm loving the warmer weather here. It's not too hot yet. It's not humid at all in Florida yet. And it is warm enough for my husband and I to go to the pool.
Mm.
So we've been doing that several times a week, which we both love water. Jen and I were just talking about the water.
Mhm.
We limit our time because he had skin cancer last year, and he's a white boy, so that's what happens. He spent a lot of time in the sun in his life. So we limit our time
Mhm.
and wear our hats. And I was part of the gallery for Helping Parents Heal last night. That is on the Helping Parents Heal YouTube channel.
Watch
Please,
it.
please watch it.
Mhm.
Medium Kathy Behrens and I gave some incredible messages to parents who have lost children, and that's on Helping Parents Heal on YouTube. And if you are a parent who has lost a child, helpingparentsheal.org is an incredible organization, and has so many resources for grieving parents. They have Helping
Mm.
Fathers Heal. They have, I believe, they have a section for sibling loss. I'm
Mm.
pretty sure that that's accurate. But helpingparentsheal.org is incredible. They have a Facebook page. And the Facebook page is where you get the links to join the
Oh.
galleries. And they have galleries all the time. There's always new mediums, new healers. They have another gallery tonight for Helping Fathers Heal.
That's
So if you
wonderful.
are a father or you know a father who is mourning the loss of a child but doesn't know what to do with their grief,
Mm.
go to the Helping Parents Heal Facebook page, and there's a gallery for fathers tonight. So
Mm.
I highly
Wonderful.
recommend. Hello, Serena.
Good
You
morning.
too are a beautiful lady. And good morning, Holly, and everybody else say hello. What do you want to talk about today, Aunt Jen?
We're going to talk about how the 5 people that you spend the most time with in your life are not only a reflection of you, but they actually are, they can either make you or break you, really is what it kind of comes down to. So it's just kind of a opportunity for you to look deeper into yourself and to look into who you're creating around you, meaning, and it can be by, choice, right? That's really the big one, is like, who are you choosing? Who are the 5 people that you choose and you notice that you're spending the most time with, and what characteristics do they have? What do they, what is it about them that they have that you want or you don't want? And a lot of times we can always sit there, I think, when you're thinking about the 5 people that you spend the most time with, like, you want to uh, initially look for, oh my God, okay, let me find all the 5 great things about them. Well, that is important, but I invite you to look at the others as well, because that might be explaining why you are where you are, or what's happening? Like, are you hanging around people who are inspiring? Are you hanging around people who are motivating? Are you hanging around people who they're going someplace that you want them to go? Are you hanging around people who are dismissive? Are you hanging around people who like are fake? Like, what is it that these people like are possessing? And to take it even further, because I've had this topic before, and I've gone deeper with myself, is you thinking about those 5 people, who are their 5 people?
Right.
Because that one really hits in another way of like, oh, well, this person's in my life and they have this, this, and this. And if you're becoming a little more distracted or uncertain about what characteristics maybe these people hold, think about the 5 people that they hang around with. And if you're not sure, well, that might be something you might want to look at. Because when we look at our life just in general, like pretending that you're in a play, who are the people that are going to be in the front row? Who
Mm,
are the people that are not only going to be in the front row because someone like themselves, like I'll use you as an example, like of course you would always get the invite, yet you would fight tooth and nail to be in the front row. If that makes any sense, like with not some way of like be like, oh, where's my spot? Like you'd sit on the floor if you had to. Like you'd do whatever you needed to do to be in my front row, because that's where the value that we hold towards each other. So it's kind of like important of like, and not looking at it as like, oh wow, look who I have in my front. Like, do you even want them there? Like
right.
just because you owe them because they're a parent or a friend or someone you've had for a really long time carrying the history, like what are they offering and what are they bringing into your life? And are they bringing you up or are they bringing you down?
I could not agree more. And I have comments and in the chat, Rhonda said, hello to you both. Thank you for sharing your gifts. Thank you. Hello, Rhonda. We're glad you're here. Hello, Miss Vivian. Good morning. Hi, Gina. And Serena said, oh, who are their 5 people? It is so telling. And that is so true. And I want to make a comment about, do you notice yourself changing who you are when you're around them? So some people are moldable, and so they're followers and not leaders. Now, this isn't to make anyone wrong.
Yeah.
It's just this is how we are born. Like some people are natural leaders and some people are natural followers, and it's okay. We need leaders and followers. I think we talked about this before. However, we have to lead ourselves. And when we are around these different people, whoever they are, friends, family, loved ones, romantic partners, if you find that you notice, I am behaving differently than what resonates with my moral compass around this person or these people, that's something we need to think about. Like, and ask ourselves, well, who am I? Am I the person who I am when I'm around this person? Or am I the person around this person? Or am I just totally somebody different? And I think that's what's lacking a lot. That's why people surround themselves by people who may not match their frequency. So we have to look inside, as Aunt Jen always says. And how do you say, go internally or something? You have a term for that. You look inside yourself and you do a inventory, an personal inventory or something. Like, what is it in me that is allowing myself to be influenced by these people? And am I really resonating with them? What's in here? Who am I? So it's always about who am I?
Yeah. And how often can you really, I mean, I think one of the first questions, if people are not sure how you start, is like noticing who you are when you're hanging around people. Like, are you really being your authentic self? And if you can't truly be your authentic self, is that really the place to be?
Right.
And that in itself, sometimes it takes a little while. So that's the first step. Sometimes we stay in that first step for a while because it's very, it's confusing sometimes, especially when it's people that we love. especially when it's a sibling or a parent or a friend that's been our friend forever, or a boyfriend or a girlfriend that we've been with, and being like, well, no, this is a great person, I'm with them, right? And you're like, but wait, like, I'm frustrated every time I'm in this relationship because I don't feel like I'm heard, felt, and seen. And so it's like, okay, what does that mean? Right. And then to take it into a bigger picture, sometimes if I think that when we can expand out, that can make it easier too. And so if it's harder for you to look at your people, or whatever that looks like, I invite you to look at their people, because that has definitely been more eye-opening than I maybe would want it to be. But that's when things become a lot more clarity of like this person, and you're like, okay, I think I got their 5 people, and like I wouldn't want to talk to any of them. Like I would not want to be. So it's not trying to make someone wrong again. We're not into wrong and right. Like those words are really just like, they add a lot of the heaviness that is unnecessary. They're just facts. Like, okay, these 5 people, like I wouldn't want to hang out with them. They don't really make me feel good. Like they don't really enjoy me, and I don't really enjoy them. And like that is very telling about that particular person. And that might make it easier for you as you're looking at your people and being like, maybe shouldn't be one of my people. Like maybe, and that I think also we really get caught up in sometimes. I know I did, in the fact of like having like people, it shows so much to have somebody for so long. Oh my, I've been friends with this person, but what is that friendship really bringing to you? What is that relationship really bringing to you, that like, except the fact that you can state that you've known them for 20 years or whatever that looks like, yet it's not really serving you anymore. So it's, if it's easier to look at who these people are and who they're hanging out with, I think that's important to look at as well. It can make sometimes that can make it the light a little brighter for yourself, to be able to be like, well, I don't really enjoy them. Like, okay, well, let me find out what I do find within this person I'm hanging out with. And if you're struggling to find things, I mean, that can be a challenge as well. And honesty is really the most important. So even if you love someone and you're like, oh, I have a really good time with them, yet every time I talk to them, it's always frustrating because of this and this and this. Okay, well, that's something that you might want to give it a little bit of weight and give yourself the respect enough to be able to be like, maybe they need to go a little further back. Maybe they're not in the front row anymore. Maybe, see if they even are going to show up.
That is so true. I can tell you from experience, and if anybody in the chat can chime in on this, have you ever been around people that when you weren't around, even while you were around them and after you were around them, that you just felt this sense of, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to vomit, right? Yeah, same, like millions of times, because we sometimes grow up in a toxic family. Sometimes the toxic family, we inherit toxic friends. Hi, Lily. There are so many different situations we get programmed into. Sometimes it's your religious organization. And we know there's a lot of, wherever there's people and money to be made, there's always toxicity and dysfunction. Doesn't matter what the religion is. I think pretty much all organized religions are corrupt to some degree, varying degree. And so it could be a religious organization. It could be, a group of friends, your parents were friends with their parents and you all grew up together. And it's just like this toxic soup of, oh my God. But then you feel this obligation. I got to go to her baby shower. I got to go to their wedding. I have to go to their kids' hockey match or whatever it's called. And then you fail to look inside and be like, wait a minute, I feel terrible all the time around these people. And it's okay. It's okay if you don't feel good around people. Just make different choices and put up boundaries. And I have found myself in situations where, I used to love gossip because, I have a family with a bunch of women and a bunch of Italians. And, it's always about gossiping and meddling and all of that historically, getting in everybody's business and knowing everything and talking about everybody. Now, of course, I was programmed into that. I grew up that way, so that's what I was used to.
Mhm.
Now, as I've grown and changed and gone on my spiritual journey, and the nauseation I would feel, I don't even know if that's a word.
It is. I think it's a word. I like
We're
it.
making it a word today if it's not.
You know me, I always make up words, so I support you when you do it.
When I would feel so icky
Mm,
during and after those interactions, I started to be like, oh, this is why I'm cutting these people out.
mm,
I can't be around that toxicity.
mm,
It's just not healthy. I have other things I want to talk about. I want
mhm,
to talk about spirituality. I want to talk about aliens. I want to talk about mediumship. I want to talk
mhm,
about quantum physics. Like, I don't want to talk about your neighbor or your sister or your friend and their problems. I
mhm.
want to talk about real important stuff, you
Yes.
know, and not other people.
Yes. Not small talk, always having that. I think, one of the ones that's become a little bit more, I think that we shift and change too as we're like going in
Yes.
different directions. And I think one of the ones that I've been asking myself in situations when I'm hanging out people, even people that I love so much that I, want to be around, like, why am I here? Like, why am I even here? Like,
Yes.
whether it be that, like, they don't even, it's not even, I'm the one that's making such an effort and they're not. And it's like an obligatory thing. It's kind of like, why am I even putting my energy here? When in actuality, if I wasn't here, probably wouldn't make a difference, but it would make a difference for me. It would make a
Right.
difference to me to not be here for so many different things. And that's why I will talk to, I have a lot of clients when they're first starting off. And so I'll tell you all the same thing. But I have a lot of clients that when I'm starting off, and people have a hard time being able to feel comfortable expressing, their boundaries and not. That's when you can become not well. Like, I always explosive diarrhea. Nobody wants to mess with you with that. Like, it's really true. Nobody's going to say something. And so it's like when you have that, it's like it's the truth of like sometimes you need to come up with something that is okay with you on being able to have a big hard no until you can get there. And then for
Yes.
myself, what ends up happening is I like evidence for myself because I'm living with myself. And so I
Mhm.
need evidence and then I will find out something that took place or something that had happened. And I'm like, see, there's my evidence that I really was not supposed to be there. Maybe it wasn't the way that I wanted it to, of being able to use my voice and say, you know what, I really just don't want. That doesn't always work out that way because you have to remember who your audience is. Not
Mhm.
everybody is open to hearing you say your statements of whatever's happening. Yet, if you're not feeling well, which you can actually, I used to literally make myself sick way years ago because that was the only thing that I knew was acceptable for me not to go somewhere. And so people that are watching me now, if they're following me from wherever they were, they'd be like, oh my gosh, she was always sick. Yeah, I didn't want to hang out with you. That's the truth. Like, and I didn't really know how to do that because there were so many different things where people are telling you what you should do and you're also feeling guilty yourself probably of like why don't I want to go, what's wrong with me, like but you just have an intuitive knowingness,
Yes.
I don't want to be there. And until I could really put the knowingness with the words, I just didn't understand, but I look back on all of it and no regrets, none. Like,
I'll tell you, I was 50 before I told the truth of why I didn't want to be around certain people, but I'll get to that in a minute. Lily said, hi, ladies. Hope everyone is having a beautiful day wherever you all are. Hello, hello. We are.
mhm.
Gina said, definitely felt terrible after being around certain people. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Serena said, family, friends, relationships. A lot of them, when I look back on a lot of past relationships, it's a constant checking in with myself as I build new relationships now.
That's right.
Absolutely. And
And
I
had
know,
that all not happened to her, then she wouldn't have this process. You have nowhere to reflect upon, right? You have nowhere to see yourself to be like, oh, that's what, oh, okay. And then looking at ourselves with grace and compassion as well.
exactly. Gina said being an empath makes the icky feeling more intense, 100 million billion%. And
Yes.
Jen and I are both empaths, and that's
Especially when
why,
you're around a narcissist, because narcissists love empaths. And
yes,
until you become strong enough to understand that, you keep attracting narcissists and you're like, what's happening here?
they're magneted to you.
Oh, they are. Big time.
Um, Jake, I drop kicked a kid. Jake said, hi, it's Jake. Hello, Jake.
Hello,
Welcome in.
Jake.
Lily said, you work so hard to find your peace. The boundary is even in your name, Peaceful Nick. Yeah. So I was not a medium when I came up with Peaceful Nick. It was my personal Instagram name and for years. And I barely ever posted on there. And then when I became a medium, I'm like, oh, I'll just add the medium to my Instagram name and see what happens. And that's how it wasn't something I totally like took hours and hours to decide. I just made it that way because I was a teacher and I didn't want my students to find my Instagram. Not that I put anything weird on there. It's just, you don't want to cross that boundary. So that's how that started. And I guess Spirit knew all those years ago that it was
comes together. Isn't it fast? I love it when you watch it and you put all the dots together.
Exactly. Chuck said, selfish persons are incapable of loving others, but they are not capable of loving themselves either. Yes.
Sorry, go on.
Paradoxically, the ability to be alone is the condition for the ability to love. From Eric Fromm. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, the only thing that I was going to say is like, I think that as we evolve and we change, when I think about whatever's going on, like the 5 people, it doesn't matter. Like one of the number one things I look for in someone now, whether they're going to be in my crew or people that I'm going to hang around with, is how do they feel about themselves? How do they take care of themselves? How do they love themselves? How honest are they with themselves? It's all about the self kind of thing. And again, it's absolutely no judgment. It's absolutely, I've really learned that not everyone is supposed to do, obviously, like, right. I'm not supposed to be an astronomer like you. I'm not like, right. So we're not all supposed to do these things. However, if someone doesn't have that capability, I've learned for myself, I can't be around because that's who I am. And so I'm always going to be in that kind of space. And so how you feel about yourself and how you take care of yourself, your willingness, like if someone, you can never talk to them about anything, they never see their side, that's very telling right there. Like, and then we get caught up in that but I love them. And well, this is my sister or this is mine. It's like, okay, those are all true. Yet if they don't have that capacity within themselves, they might come across in a certain way, but they don't have that capacity with you. Like, it just isn't. And so it's like, what are besides like your people that you're looking for, like something that might be easier to just kind of interject about who are the people you're around. Like, think about what is important to you that you want in people you hang around with. What is it that like you're seeking or that you're looking for with regards to people that you spend your energy with? And then you think about the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and do they possess this? Do they possess this? Do they have a desire to possess it? Because that also is something. Someone who has a desire to want to do better and possess it and not just making up bullshit, like that has volumes, because we all know like it's a work in progress. I'm still a work in progress. I will always be healing and working. So when people want to be like, are you done yet? No, I'm not. Like, I've gotten to a great place and there still is more to be doing. And so that might be able to help you too. And you're trying to think about your 5 people, like thinking about like making a list of like, what are the most important qualities that you're looking for in someone? And so circling it back around for me, one of my number one qualities is, how do you love yourself? I want to see, how do you truly love yourself?
I love myself with my boundaries first and foremost, but I'm going to get back to Chuck said, just as love for one individual, which excludes the love for others, is not love. Love for one's country, which is not part of one's love for humanity, is not love, but idolatrous worship. Yes, right, exactly. That's also from Eric Fromm. Lily said 100%, Serena. And Chuck said, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. And that's by Jack Cornfield. That is something some of the people in my life have a very hard time adjusting to. Because
good word. They have a hard time adjusting. Downshifting.
Because I'm in my mid 50s and I am not going to be less of an advocate for myself. I'm only going to become more of an advocate for myself when women in general, and this is a generalization, okay, women in general give up a lot of themselves for other people in their lives. That's historically accurate. That's currently accurate. And we reach a point in our lives, hopefully, where we say, I have given everything I have to everyone around me, and now it's time to give to myself. Now, some people take that as selfishness. And I would say, yeah, I would say mothers and pet mothers and human mothers and mothers who take in other children that aren't their biological children, whether through adoption or just neighbors' kids or teachers, nurses, everything, counselors. We give and give and give, and it's okay when we give to ourselves. It's not okay to constantly give everything away. I know a woman who is a lovely, wonderful woman. She is so wonderful. However, she could use this talk today because she was a nurse for like 40 years. She gives to everyone, and she's such a wonderful person. And I wish I could see her grow into giving to herself.
Work in progress for some people,
right? And I'm not faulting her. I just I want that for her.
Yeah, and sometimes we, that's how it kind of starts until we start to see the reflection. I mean, I always think about I definitely fell underneath that category for a very long time. And I also fell underneath it because I was raised by Mr. Rogers. He told me to treat people the way I wanted to be treated. So I literally did. Like,
thank God for PBS or this whole Gen X would be screwed.
Yeah. Like PBS
raised a lot of us.
Mr. Rogers, that was my homie. But it's, I don't, even people that I don't really want to surround myself with anymore, or they're not my part. Like, there's no hatred for I don't have that. I might get angry and it might seem like it's coming up and it's something that I'll work through, but I don't really know how to be like that towards people personally. That's me. Everyone else gets to be, but I just think love is always the answer. But it really is giving, when I've heard this so many times and it really is true. And it's actually becoming a lot more relevant out there in the world. People are saying it a lot more, which is really nice. It's the love that you're seeking is inside of you. Everything that you're looking for really is inside of you. And until you actually really discover that, you're going to keep seeking.
Right.
You really are. There's no other, you're still thinking it's somebody else, or oh no, I have it myself and I have this other person. It's okay. And the true love, the true accept, everything that you really are seeking really lies within you. And it gets to be our job to figure out how to do that. But we get so distracted by life and thinking it's outside of ourselves with someone else. And it just perpetuates and goes in this direction. And so that's why personally, I've dedicated my life to this, is just being again, not saying that it's right or wrong, but if it's a path that you're on, especially when people are just learning how to awaken and be like, wait, what's going on? And it's oh yeah, hi, it's okay. Right. It's because it is a whole process, yet everything is not outside of you. There's nothing. It's all within yourself. And most of the times people will, when I can get there and they can find out, they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with themselves, or they've told themselves a story. I don't have time. Once I start crying, it's never going to stop. I work, and I'm just okay, well, these are all your stories and that's okay. But once you're learning how to shift the story, then that's when something can shift. And so it really has to come from you making it about you and realizing that what you're seeking is you.
Yes. And I want to say the next statement I'm going to tell is not a religious statement. Okay. So just know that. In the New Testament, Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And that is exactly what Aunt Jen is saying. And that's I'm not promoting any religion or insulting anybody who's not a Christian or anything like that.
No.
It's just a very true statement. We're looking for our heaven, the metaphorical heaven, and it is within us. And we all have access to that. But just like Jen said, some people don't want to do the work because it hurts. Doing that work is painful.
It's
Very painful.
it's hard work. It's not for the weak. It is hard work that is um ongoing. It doesn't stop, and it's not always obvious to the outside. It
And
might
you have
happen
to
later.
love, and you have to love yourself enough to do it.
Mhm.
And if
Because someone's not gonna come save you. Someone's not gonna You're not gonna find a new, even if they're a beautiful soul, you're not gonna find a soul to help you heal where you're at from what happened to someone else. And my other one that I really love, that really gets me, just like, oh, so true. Someone can only love you as much as you love yourself. So if you have somebody
absolutely,
who loves real big, that's great, but you will not be able to feel it and or take it in unless it's the level that you love yourself. And that's why I work so hard to grow this to this most beautiful love story for me, because if the time comes and something comes along and people love me, like I can feel that in a certain level because of the level that I love myself. But a lot of times we give that again outside of ourselves to someone else. Oh, well, like my mom loves me more than anyone else. Okay, well, you can't actually really feel it. I would really be like, you can, but you can't. Not to the only to the level that you can actually love you. So,
right.
and then that again reflects our five people. Who are the five people that you spend your most time with? Who are the five people that, like, and that can be evolving, right? There could be like one or two people that are always there, and then they kind of switch and they move, and people, it's like chess, right? People get moved out and they get moved in. But looking at that, and then again, going even further out of who are their people.
I have a lot of comments, but Lily said, dang, Auntie Jen, we need that on a t-shirt. I love that statement. Which statement? Because Aunt Jen just talks and talks and talks. And if we don't take notes, we miss half of what she
I
said.
don't even think any of it's that whatever. I'm just like, okay. But
You need to listen back to your own videos, Jen.
yeah,
So lots of comments. I want to say hi to Carol. Donna said, hi, Aunt Jen. You ladies have such a great talent and making me have faith in humans. Oh, it ain't for the weak, girl.
No.
Chuck, I so appreciate
Yeah, Chuck.
all of the quotes. I'm glad that you're here. I just am not going to have time to read all of them. They are very good, and so everybody read Chuck's.
Yeah, thank you, Chuck.
Lily said, my hubby told me to stop giving everything away. It's a selfish part of me that loves the reward of seeing that happiness or stress relief in others. Yeah, especially women, we always have that in us.
Yeah, right. To spread love is way nicer to do than to spread a bunch of hate and meanness, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. It's so nice to spread love and give hugs and tell somebody something that maybe they didn't hear, and really take the time to connect with somebody and listen to them, like, and really feel them and see them. Like, I mean, it really is.
This is the quote. And thank you, Lily. Thank you. Until you learn to love yourself, only then can you accept love from others. Absolutely true. I want to say hi to Mangled. I hope you're feeling better, honey. I was just thinking about you 30 seconds ago. It's so funny because I was
send you love, girl. You are a rock star.
Yeah, amazing. I'm glad you're here. Everybody send love and hugs to Mangled. Just for reasons she needs it. And Chuck did give a quote from Richard Rohr, who I absolutely adore. He's a Catholic priest and an author, but he's a different kind of Catholic priest. He said, religion can be one of the safest places to hide from God. And that is so true.
Ooh.
Yeah. Richard Rohr is amazing. I think you would like his books, Jen.
Yeah, you could, I love all the things I get from my religion. Is my religion. I'm extremely spiritual. I do believe in a higher, all of that. But in one organized religion, I don't fall into it because it usually doesn't all resonate with me. And I also feel this sense of like, I don't want to give everything to, again, I'm giving away instead of like taking responsibility for my piece of it. So I think that, everyone gets you get to do what you work with. And there is no right or wrong, really. There really is not. And it's what serves everybody. And you get to always analyze it. So something that might have served you and worked for you before, maybe is not serving you and working for you now. And I think that also can cause some disturbance in the field within yourself of like, well, no, I've been doing this for so long, so it needs to be, or this person's been in my life for so long, so and it's just like, well, maybe things don't, you can change your mind. Like things can move in a different direction. So
Exactly. And I want to say that Lily said, I read something earlier today that said Jesus Christ taught consciousness and not religion. This aligns with what Chuck said above. And I agree. And I sent this book to Aunt Jen. I'm not sure if she's had a chance to read it, but
Jen needs to get some glasses so that she can see.
If you want to read a book about Jesus and consciousness, read this book by Adyashanti, Resurrecting Jesus. I grew up Catholic. I've gone back and forth many times over the years between being an agnostic, being an atheist, being a Catholic, now I consider myself a pantheist, which is a person who believes the universe is God and all of the consciousness is just a collective, and we are all God together in one big Godhead. It's like one big God source, which aligns with my mediumship. Anyway, but Jesus was teaching consciousness, and most people who are spiritual teachers like that are teaching consciousness, and that is really all there is. We're all connected through the vibrations in the universe. That is why the five people you surround yourself with, all of those frequencies and vibrations make you feel icky. If you don't know how to explain it, it's because of the frequency and the vibration. It's because, oh, they're gossiping about so-and-so, and I just feel sick thinking about being in that energy, because that's not the energy I align with. Not that every piece of gossip is horrible and should make you feel like throwing up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when you're not aligning with the belief systems, ideologies, energy of a group of people, when all they have to talk about is other people and superficial things, that may not align with you. And you may feel uncomfortable.
May happen. It may. I said it may happen. I'm just agreeing with I'm like, and that's, I think then that is the time to start to look, right? So it's like, if these things keep happening to you with somebody and you're like, I don't understand what this keeps happening. Well, maybe you just need to look a little deeper. Maybe there's something that's there. It's kind of like that kind of trajectory of like, oh, this keeps happening over and over again every time I hang out with this person. Okay, well, until you're ready, maybe there is something to be looking at. But wrapping that back around to what you said, I love that. I'd never heard about that. And I'm a firm believer. I mean, everything is energy. Money's energy. Everything's energy. So it's like, how do you deal with energy? And you have to clear out all the bullshit within yourself before you can move into the new energy. But you have to be willing to face yourself and be honest.
Right.
It's not easy, nor is it, fun, but it's a part of it. And, there's the good, we're made up of both. So it's important to know that about yourself too, all the beauty that you bring, and then noticing like, what's the dark side of you? What are these things that you're, like, we're all made up of that. Like that is how it's done. But what reflects more? Is it more of the light that's being reflected, or is it more of the negativity? I mean, that's my big thing. Are they throwing negativity on me, or are they like shining light into my life by who they are, by what they're doing with me, like anything that I say? How is that approached? Is it always like argumentative? Is it always like, we've got to combat what I've got to say? Like, it's just like, okay. Or is it like, oh, okay, now I could see that, like, or whatever that is. But it really gets to like feeling that you can't feel how you feel about somebody if you don't know how you feel about yourself. And if you're always avoiding yourself to be so busy all the time, you're avoiding yourself. Like I'm a firm believer in these busy people. You're avoiding yourself. Like you don't have time because you're not making the time. Anyone can find time. It's how we decide to use our time.
I agree so wholeheartedly. I think we all have people in our lives that won't answer a text, won't answer a call, and then you don't hear from them and don't hear from them and don't hear from them. And you're like,
that is the answer.
Yeah. Right. And so, there's only, you can't force people. Well, I want to say this. When you have someone who you're texting or calling or messaging and they're not answering, don't take it personal.
Mm-mm.
It's not about you, it's about them. Now, sorry, allergies. If you feel like you have done something horrible, hold on.
If you feel like you've done something horrible, then that might be something to reflect upon. What I would say about what she was talking about is, so we do have feelings. So if you text somebody and they're not responding to you, you have a feeling based on that that can be expressed and then released. And then going back to the original, which is that's not why you sent the message, or that's not why you were communicating something. You're doing that for yourself, not necessarily for the response. But yet, it's not saying that you don't ever have thoughts or feelings of feeling left out, or thoughts or feelings of having your feelings even hurt. Those things do take place. Yet, that just means that there's a time for you to go within yourself to get to that space to find out, and then seeing the reflection of what is being projected based on that person. So, I'm not sure where else she was going to go with that, but that's what I would say with regards to that. So let's see. Uh, I don't even know where the comments are. Oh, there they are. There are a lot of comments. Chuck has a lot. I appreciate that, Chuck. Oh, and today is Earth Day. Today is Earth Day. That's a nice little thing to talk about. Today is Earth Day. And so how are you going to connect with the earth today, and us being the earth as well, upon the reflections? That's a fun thing to do today. But I would say, I was trying to think of where I think she was going with that. It's really like what I would say with regards to any of it, about you putting your stuff out there towards people and their response. If someone's not, I knew she was going someplace when someone doesn't respond. To me, and someone not responding, that is a response. Like, they're not responding to you, like that is their response. And that can speak volumes as well. Sometimes people are not sure how to move forward. But if you're in a relationship and you are having somebody who is in your 5 and they never respond to you, maybe they're not really in your 5, because that's not something that really resonates with you. You'd like someone who actually has some feedback, but then also I would say take it further. And how do you actually really feel about this person? And are you chasing or are you attracting? I don't chase, I attract. Like, there's a different notice whether you're attracting or chasing. So I used to be a chaser. I understand. There's nothing wrong with any parts of any of it, because we're all a work in progress. Hello. Hello, darling. Are you all right?
The allergy attack. Thank you.
You need your honey next to you, a little jar.
I know. It's
Helps,
downstairs.
it helps with the throat too, not just like the allergies, but it does like helping with coughing or helping with like. So anyway, we're glad to see you. I'm glad you're okay, darling.
I'm okay.
Okay, continue. I think I went in some direction. I was trying to find.
I could hear you.
I was trying to find the way, and then I kind of went off on some other things. But continue on.
I don't remember what I
You were
was
saying
saying.
that you were saying you were in the sentence of the text messages, and you send a message to somebody, and then they don't respond, and then that was it.
So what I was saying is, if someone's not responding, now, if you know you did something to that person, that's a different story. But if it's just nothing happened in particular, they're just not answering, it's more a reflection of them and not you, because they're hiding from themselves. They're hiding from you. They should really look inside of them. And I know Aunt Jen has said many times that she's given and given and given to so many people, and then realized, I'm giving all this away for free, emotionally for free. and they like it, but they're not reciprocating it. They're not There's no back and forth, and relationships should be back and forth.
Mhm.
You shouldn't have to chase, just like you said, someone to say, love me, love me. You know, it's like the pick me girl, right? Love me, pick me. I'm picking me.
Mhm.
And you guys should all pick yourself. And
But
that's
it
the
take
bottom
it
line.
takes a long time because I mean it is quite a process. So you know, I think that's again just other reasons why I've dedicated my life to this is because I was that person for so long. It was like pick me, and it was like, girl, you ain't picking you. Oh, okay, you know what? Wait,
Right,
hold on a second.
right.
Wait, right? And it's like you try and then you're still looking for that, but you're not feeling being fulfilled in any relationship. Like that has something to say about it with regards to yourself. You know, blaming other people. I mean, there's a piece of people hurting you, but it's your responsibility to heal yourself. Like that's the truth. Like so people do things and that's always going to happen. Yet what does that look like? I mean, that's a whole nother story. I could do a whole topic on that. I could do a whole topic on forgiveness and what that does to you by not forgiving for yourself. It has nothing to do with the other person. I did not forgive anybody that I've forgiven for them. Not least bit. I did it for myself. And then what ended up happening from that is like unbelievable. But it was never about like, oh, well, let me forgive them so I could be back in their life again. No, it was like, I'm a prisoner. So but a lot of people like they use it as just to finish this up, they use it as I don't know what the word I want to use is, but it's like a rite of passage of being like, you've done something to me and I'm never going to forgive you. Like, and you can tell where people are at. I was actually never mind. Go on.
That's an excuse for them not to look at themselves.
Yes, it is. And it's also like, I mean, some people like to be in that place. Like I'd heard someone like you really can learn a lot by what people say. And there was interactions that were going on where people were like, oh, da, 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 and this person, oh, then it's like, oh, be careful if you hang out with them. They might want to make things right. Okay. Like, but then it spoke volumes to me of like, oh yeah, you don't want ever to make anything. You are so stuck in I'm never going to forgive them. You never would want to be around them if they want to make something right, which is something. I mean, it's just like, wow, like it really would show. Right. And so it's like, that was just someone that was in the reflection of a reflection and being like, oh, you know what? You're in the 5 of the 5. Like maybe it's not reflecting where I'm at or where I'm choosing to go in that direction. So those are things to like take note of with regard to that. Just take note if it resonates with you. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's something else. But this is really just about like, who are the people that you surround? Who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with? And how do you feel about yourself when you're with them? How do you feel about yourself? Like, can you even be yourself when you're with that person? Or is it a work in progress? And then who are their 5 people? I think that one can help with the 5 people. Like, at least for me, like if I had done that sooner, I think things could have shifted in a lot of ways, because a lot of people that may have been in my close circle, if I had really paid more attention and gave more weight to the fact of how I really felt about who their people were, that might have had an effect. Because
you know, this is our journey, right? And Serena said, show up for you and themselves, right? So we do. And Mangled, hello. I know you have to take Esther to school, but I'm glad you're still hanging out. She said there's a lot of nice people who aren't good people. Use discernment. Oh boy, I'm going to just tell you something. Okay. I've lived in several parts of the country. I've lived on the West Coast. I've lived in the Midwest. I've lived in the South. And let me tell you, nothing was more shocking going from San Francisco to Georgia. I was in Kentucky for a little while too. But there's a special kind of people in the South are trained societally and by their families to be nice, always nice. Everybody's so nice. Every time somebody goes to visit Savannah or Lexington or Atlanta, well, maybe not Atlanta, whatever, all the southern cities, Nashville, whatever. Everybody's so nice. Oh my God, I love it there. They're so nice. It's so beautiful. Yeah. And then they stab you in the back. Because I can't tell you how many nice people they're nice because they're culturally nice, but that doesn't mean they're evolved people behind the scenes. So just be careful and use discernment, as Mangled said. Lots more comments. Vivian said, if someone doesn't respond, especially on multiple occasions, just let it be. Go do something else with your time instead of waiting and wondering. And that can be in person situations too. Sometimes you have family relationships or romantic relationships or friendships where you spend time with people and they're doing the same things in communication that's making you like, wait a minute, something's not right here. I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't feel okay with what's happening. Or they are not letting you be your authentic self.
It's not welcome.
It's not welcome. When you are in any relationship and your authenticity isn't welcome, now I'm talking about, appropriate authenticity. I'm not talking about extreme situations, right? And this is all generalized situations.
Yes. Okay, people.
Chuck has some great quotes, and I do want to say Happy Earth Day. I heard you guys talking about it in my coughing fit.
Today is Earth Day.
And I want to go back to something about, and I feel like I'm going to start coughing again.
Okay, so
I want to start talking about, while we have our last few minutes here, you talked about giving the excuse of explosive diarrhea and to avoid spending time with people. And I meant to say this earlier, but I got distracted with myself and didn't say it. So I, for years, had a situation, decades long, with family members who we had obligatory family get-togethers because of family enmeshment issues, right? You had to be there, blah, 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 the guilt trips and all that stuff. And I got invited to something that I was very uncomfortable with. Celebrating someone who I wasn't comfortable with celebrating for a very big bunch of reasons. And I was almost 50, or I was 50 when it happened. And for the first time, I told the truth to my family about why. Sorry, I'm chewing. About why I wasn't comfortable being there. And so it took me till I was 50 something years old. And once I did it, I felt so liberated. Like, oh, now I don't have to use the explosive diarrhea excuse.
And sometimes it's also not necessarily about them. Like, sometimes, at least I can speak for myself, I would say like it goes 50-50 for me personally. Some of the times the reasons why I was not wanting to hang out with people was because I was not in the right state of mind, and I wasn't willing to change where I was at in my life in order to go and be somewhere, because I don't know how to fake nothing. So it's like I'm having some kind of like, and I'm not saying that's good, bad, right, or wrong. I'm just saying that's who I was. That's where I was at. That's where I can still find myself of being like, you know what, I'm not feeling very sharp right now. I'm feeling very depleted energetically. I am feeling completely emotionally distraught. I cannot get myself together to go and be at A, B, and C. So it doesn't always have to be that kind of a thing where it's like them. It can always be yourself too, of being like, this is just not where I'm at right now. And that's why sometimes plans will change, and people that can be flexible with that. It's like, okay, you said you're going to do something, you have to do it. There is a statement for that. I totally agree with that. And there's also a point too, when it's like finding out within yourself of what's going. That's why I'm always seeking the evidence, whether it's true or not. And I find it and make it up. I mean, hey, I'll tell myself that, that's fine. But like, I usually find the string of evidence of like, good choice, Jennifer. Good choice because of that situation, or good choice because of like, look how I took care of myself during that period of time that I was meant to be somewhere else. And this was actually better for me because I got to be with me 24/7, 365 days a year, every single day. And so that's my most important relationship. And so if I'm having a hard time with my own relationship with me, sometimes other things go to the wayside. They just do. Not trying to hurt other people, not even someone even doing anything. It just goes again of like, who are your five? Well, I'm definitely number one.
Right.
So what do I need and what's happening with me, and learning how to listen to that. And then it shifts and changes. It's not always in that direction.
Exactly. And there's some comments, and Chuck is just putting all kinds of good quotes in here. Just don't have time to read them all. But I do want to say, Serena said, I recently had an experience being ghosted by someone who wanted to rebuild a friendship. I see it as divine protection. The universe is protecting my heart. 100%.
Yep.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And yes.
And then that gives you the clarity too of someone that you're going to reconnect with, of being like, okay, you're not supposed to reconnect with that person. And for myself, because I just love to love people. Like, I don't like to cut people out. I don't like to cut people off. I don't like to cut people out. I really want everyone. That's why I've gathered people from like when I was a child that are still in my life. And then you start to really look at your life and be like, but wait a minute, this has been really one-sided. Like, right. So I think it might be time for me to move on. And then you notice like, well, they don't even notice. So like, okay,
right.
Only sending love to them.
Only
not
sending love
or anger of like how they never respond to me or they never reach out to me. I'm just like, that's okay. Like, yes. I love myself more and enough that like, I'm going to remove myself because access to me is denied. You don't get access to me anymore because that's all you really want is access to me when it's convenient for you.
Yes.
What I can offer you. Well,
and it goes to the typical, and I, as a woman with a lot of female friends, I'm only speaking for women that I've known, typical when women repeatedly have the same bad relationship with different men. It's the same type of thing.
Yeah, who's the common denominator?
Right, they're repeating the pattern. Mm-hmm. Lily said, someone told me I cannot expect people to behave as I would treating someone, that I have to expect people to behave in any manner to protect myself from the disappointment. Hard learned lesson, 100%. And then Vivian said, I had a lot of digestive issues as a child. I hated going to kindergarten so much that I was physically sick a lot. Very common in children with trauma.
Exactly.
She said I was all better as soon as I got to be by myself. Yeah, a lot of empath. I know Vivian's an empath. Lily said, I've been permanently shunned for my family for telling the truth. Same. Same. Must have been a part of my life, Beth. Yes. Yes.
It's painful. It's very painful, especially when the conditioning and the programming of what family is supposed to be for you and what things are supposed to look like. And then you look outside yourself sometimes and see other families that are so close knit. But if you look a little deeper, like it might not look like what you think it looks like. At least I've definitely think, oh, wow. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, like, I'm good. Like,
I have a perfect example of that. My mom's best friend growing up, I wanted to be in their family so bad. They had 1 billion kids. They had all these toys. They had food every day. You know, they had 2 parents. They had the Barbies I liked. And my family was very broken and very destitute for many years. And I wanted to be in that family so bad. And then I found out the horrors that were happening in that house. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, you know, I probably am glad I wasn't in that family.
Right.
Because they can look, families, I have, my mother-in-law told a story recently. She said, this family, so-and-so, I don't know who they are, they were so good. They had such a good family. Oh, their one kid was so perfect. Oh my God, they were such a good family. And the other one was just so out of control and crazy and got on the drugs. And I'm like, yeah, so their family wasn't perfect. One was the golden child. And one was the one that was trying to escape whatever craziness. Like you can think, oh, they go to church every week. That doesn't mean a damn thing. You can go to church every day and still be crazy. And I would say you probably are if you do. Anyway, on that note, Aunt Jen and everyone who joined us here today and everyone watching the replay, we appreciate you and
We
love you.
do.
Love
We
is
do.
the highest vibration.
It
Love
is.
yourself enough to know, have boundaries, and look at those 5 people who you surround yourself with.
You're worth it. You're worth the love and what you've been seeking your whole life. And in closing, what I like to say regularly is if you have a beautiful love story with somebody, or you're waiting to have this beautiful love story with somebody, you wouldn't want to miss a moment of that love story, because it just is so, you call upon it. Why would you want to miss one moment of your love story with yourself? Why?
On that note, we bid you adieu until next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.